Great, thank you, Kevin. So we wanted to make sure that Mario had a lot of time today, and there's not that much going on in terms of COVID legal update, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention a couple of things. First of all, we had an election last week, and we'll talk more about what that's going to mean in terms of a change in administration, likely change in administration in Washington. As Kevin said, we'll talk about that at the Business Trends event, and we'll talk more about that in our weekly webinars as well. Another big thing that happened in New Jersey is voters decided to legalize recreational marijuana. That is supposed to take effect January 1st of 2021. So if you are an employer who has employees in New Jersey, it's time to start thinking now about how does that affect your drug and alcohol policy. If you're an NBA member, feel free to reach out and we can talk about that. If you are not, certainly reach out to your employment attorney to talk about how that might affect your policy. I think already with medical marijuana, a lot of employers were already thinking about this issue, and recreational marijuana may change the landscape of that. So stay tuned on those couple of issues. And then one other thing that I did want to touch on, that New Jersey, Governor Murphy put out an executive order that took effect last week around COVID safety. We see there's a surge going on right now in the country. So this is for employers. And I don't think for most of you, especially if you've been listening to our webinars every week, this probably is not going to significantly change how you do things in your workplace, assuming you do have employees in the workplace, but it really formalizes. There's mandates around social distancing and masks, and employers are required to provide hand sanitizer and give breaks for hand hygiene, to do routine cleaning and disinfecting according to the guidelines provided by the Department of Health and the CDC. Do your screenings, your health screenings with your employees and with your visitors, which can include temperature checks, questionnaires, et cetera. Make sure you're excluding sick employees from the workplace. What are you doing to encourage that? And obviously there are applicable leave laws, and we'll talk more about applicable leave laws as we go through what the changes might be with the current administration. I think a lot of employees are out of FFCRA time. Whether or not that might be renewed is a subject of discussion right now. And obviously your contact tracing. If you have a case in the workplace, what are you doing about contact tracing to make sure employees who have been exposed know that they've been exposed and can stay home? So stay tuned for all of that. We'll send out a copy of the executive order with the email that comes out after this. But other than that, let's turn things over to Mario.